Welcome and good evening, everyone. This is the University of Fantasy Basketball podcast. We are your hosts, Dr. Dane Andre, our distinguished professor, Kilonomics. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Happy Sunday. Happy to be here.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
How's the fantasy week going?
Not bad. Pretty good, actually. Except one of my matchups just went south. Somehow I had a strong lead all week, and now it's looking like it's going the opposite way, but it's okay. I'm winning like probably three out of 5 matchups maybe right now.
Solid, man. I feel your pain, man. Sometimes, man, these owners, they go to church on Sunday, put an extra big bill into that collection plate, and by the time the evening comes, their prayers have been answered. So I mean, you gotta roll with it. Sometimes
Actually,
it happens.
Man, I'm somebody's prayers came through because it's only 2. It's only 2 out of my 5. So change my answer. It's not going so well. How's your fantasy week going?
It started out really good. Was hot. Was winning, decidedly in about all 5 leagues. Actually, no, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 leagues. 1 league I had no chance. And then things started to turn towards the end of the week. But still looking like I'm going to be strong for 3 leagues, and I'm going to win the most important league. It looks like.
Very good, very good. For myself, it's had a tough week, but we will cover that and more in our Week 10 recap. Before we get to the matchups, this past Tuesday, we heard the announcement for the All-Star reserves. So, as you recall, last week we talked about the starters, and we talked about who we thought could make it, and I think we did pretty well. All things considered, we had a few that didn't actually make it, and a few surprises. What would you think of the selections?
I thought they did really well. I don't have any issue with any of the players that they selected. It's plus minus 1 player, from our selection. So I think they did a really good job. Sometimes, you just don't know what the hell their decision criteria is. But I think this year they got it right. Maybe because, we're all at home and we're tracking this shit. And fans will get really upset, but yeah, I think they did really well.
Yeah, I mean, it was this was hard. It's really hard to choose 12 players out of so many good performances this season. I'm a little surprised that Ben Simmons made it over Middleton, but whatever.
You know how I feel about Ben Simmons.
I know how you feel about Ben Simmons. He's great. He's he plays both ends of the floor really well. He's going to be an all defensive player. Jaylen Brown, good season, having a good season, but a lot of people are having good seasons. Do the Celtics deserve 2 All-Stars? I don't know. I don't think so, but that's okay.
Yeah, Tatum is a funky one. I mean, they're both just having funky seasons. Like Tatum was like red hot out of the gate, then he slowed down. Like he had a couple of the game winners. Then unfortunately COVID. Then Brown stepped up, and Brown was like phenomenal. He was having like 50-point games and just shooting, really high percentage from the field goals.
Right.
And then now, Tatum stepped it back up, and Brown has kind of been okay. And so
Okay.
it's like the two are tied together. It's like,
Yeah. I could do Chris Middleton over Jaylen Brown too.
mhm.
I think either one of those guys, I would take Middleton over both of them. On the West, Zion made it. We didn't pick him, but I picked Ingram over Zion. But I'm not mad at Zion.
So Zion would have been my replacement pick.
Mm.
So that was the guy I was going to go with for my
Okay.
replacement pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought, the last month or so, he's taken his game to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've just been really impressed. Like, he's like single-handedly willed that team to wins. It's weird because they changed the offense. Like, early on, it was like all around Ingram, and Ingram looked really good, as the focal point. Like, he was like the Hedo Turkoglu of Stan Van Gundy's offense. But then it kind of switched. It turned into Dwight Howard's offense, which is Zion, but a guy that could actually dribble the ball and handle it from the 3-point line. So it's
still
interesting.
Stan Van Gundy's plan. It's Zion in the Hedo Turkoglu mode, and that's we've seen Zion be kind of like a playmaker when he was at Duke. So he looks good. He's doing well in that role. I like what I see. Speaking of replacements, two guys that's not pictured here: Devin Booker for the West and Domas. Sabonis gets in for KD. So yeah, we've got updated numbers for each team. All teams are represented except two. Kayla, can you, off the top of your head, think of who they might be?
I was looking for two names that started with an S. I only see one, so it's real cold in Syracuse.
Yep, Sparrows.
Syracuse Sparrows.
No All Stars just for the Sparrows.
And then I don't see any Espanol on this list.
They're there.
They're there. Right at the bottom, and they've got two.
They've got two.
Okay. Who are we missing? We've got any other tankers? Oh, NYK. No, he's there. Is this a playoff bound team?
It's Speedsters.
Speedsters. Damn.
Speedsters, yeah. No All Stars for Speedsters. And
Speedsters with no All Stars?
Yeah, really,
bizarre times, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking of the correlation, these are two teams that are in the bottom of the standings. So no All Stars, bottom of the standings. Maybe that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We can see we've got some bottom tier teams on this list. But yeah, congrats to everyone. Bimtown has 3. Great Danes, we have 3. 2 top 5 teams.
Yeah, just shows you, the relatively good distribution of all stars, across these franchises. These organizations are making some good moves.
Yeah. Frankfurt gets Chris Paul in there, and I don't think that's the guy that maybe he would have expected to see representing him in the All-Star game, but Chris Paul's been great.
He's the reason why the Suns are in 4th place. I do have reservations about Devin Booker. I do think they could have went with Mike Conley. This was the year to kind of say, Mike, we kind of owe it to you. We kind of did you wrong some years when we were doing the whole tribute and giving some players, the ribbon badge, for all their work in the NBA. So we're going to put them in. I mean, he's just done so much. It means a whole lot to him. And I mean, that team is in 1st place.
Yeah,
And
I mean
it's not
they have
just Donovan Mitchell. Like they were winning games without Mitchell.
yeah. I mean, so you would give them 3 All-Stars?
I'd give him 3 All-Stars. The Nets got 3 All-Stars.
They do. They do. You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could disagree with that. I mean, Booker hasn't been great all year.
Mhm.
Conley's been pretty solid. And probably the reason why Utah is as good as they are right now. And that's no disrespect to Gobert or Mitchell, but um, Conley's having one of those seasons where you're like, oh, why is this guy not an All-Star?
Yeah. So I mean, it just I blame LeBron. LeBron sent out that tweet like, "How is Booker not an All-Star?" And I'm like, are you recruiting or something? Like what's going on here? This feels like
I thought
tampering."
you were gonna go the other way, where like, is it fair to have LeBron as a guard? Was he voted in as a guard?
Um,
Was he voted in as a forward? No, he was voted in as
nah,
a
he was
forward.
forward. No, it was a
He's playing
forward. He
point
was
guard.
voted for.
He's playing point guard. How is that work?
Nah, he's got Dennis Schroeder out there. He's got Schroeder.
He's I don't know,
Right?
man. The NBA is playing tricky, being tricky with this stuff.
Nah, LeBron's a forward. Like he's not guarding any
He's
guards
always been
either.
a forward, but wasn't I mean last year he was a point guard, wasn't he?
Oh, then that's funky business.
I mean, what does Yahoo have him at? They got him at like
Yahoo's got him at multiple positions,
they
man.
got
I
him at
bet.
everything.
Yeah, right. They're just like whatever you want, LeBron.
It ain't right, man.
You put in your own position.
All right, well, let's move on to let's see what's going on in the matchups from week 10 and our picks. Uh yeah. Um
Mm.
we got some explaining to do. Um we'll start with my matchup. Um yeah, man. We came across like I told you, very tricky, tough team. They the reason why they ranked highly, it made the Dean's list because their performance is top notch. They find a way to win matchups. And that trade for Plumlee, just it's a little underrated, man. I like the fit with Plumlee and Draymond. He does something, that combination does something for that team that they don't really have in the guard position.
I never thought
So
I'd hear you say those words. Plumlee and Draymond
Plumlee and Draymond, man.
doing big things.
And not only is Plumlee a great addition to a combination with Draymond, he's a good combination with Capella as well. Um, you know, the assists, the the rebounds, blocking shots. He gives them pretty much. He helps build on those categories for this team. And where my team fell short, you can tell in your own stories, but you pretty quickly see that we didn't shoot as efficiently as we usually do. But what did you see in this matchup?
Yeah, so the Dame stop, they brought it, man. They knew it was, win now or go home, man. They're trying to avoid, giving up a lottery pick to my Brooklyn Phoenix. So really quickly, I looked at some of the averages, for a lot of the teams, and specifically for this matchup, what I saw was Dame Stop beat you in 2 categories that he was supposed to, which was blocks and turnovers. So that was expected. Um, but there were 3 categories where he really surprised, which was the first, as you alluded to, was field goal percentage. So Dame Stop is a 46% free throw shooter on the year, but of course, I don't know if the trade, affected his field goals and improved it, but he shot 49% against you.
Yeah,
So that was a big surprise. We're going to have to track if that's a trend.
right.
Because that's even better than your average for the season at 48%.
Yeah.
The other area we'll jump to is rebounds. So rebounds, Dame Stop usually puts up 161, whereas now he's putting up 190. So maybe that talks to the whole Plumlee effect there.
Oh yeah.
And then lastly, assist. Assist was an area where your team, has a 5, assist average. And he's only at 93 a game, and he's at 120 now, right? And that again speaks to that Plumlee effect right there. And then one category he struggled at, but he's only got a 1 steal advantage of you on the year, 25 to 24. He had the 1 steal advantage, but that could go anyway. So I wouldn't really count that as something that he should have wanted. So yeah, I think the trade is paying huge dividends early on for this team.
Yeah, definitely. Part of the reason I think we shot so poorly is number one, Joel Embiid did not shoot well. He 38% for the week. And then I had guys like Josh Jackson and Darius Garland just kind of making it worse. So, it is what it is. We'll
So
have
is
better
this?
days, I hope.
So is this? Is this going to be a trend? Because I know is this one of the first weeks?
Josh Jackson's gone.
Josh Jackson is gone. How about Mitch Robinson? Do we need Mitch Robinson?
We need Mitch Robinson, but we
are we underestimating? Are we underestimating the effect that Mitch has? On this team?
No. I think his rebounding and his field goal percentage is definitely missed. We haven't quite been the same without him. So we're looking forward to hopefully getting him back in like another month, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's move on. Amherst and King's Landing faced off. We went with Amherst, but King's Landing, man, they're somehow pulling it out. What did you see?
Man, just very quickly in this matchup, anytime you see King's Landing, just choose the opposite of what you think is going to happen because he's just full of surprises. Man, so I'll start the recap with the averages and what were some surprises. So from Amherst Speedster's perspective, he took care of field goal percentage. He's 49%, on the year, and he shot it, above that mark. So he's most likely going to win most matchups shooting, over 50%. Mm-hmm. Next, he took care of blocks. He averages 18. He put up 20. It's pretty solid. The turnovers, he had 39. He averages 39 turnovers. He had 46 and took home that category, right? So that's 3 categories there. And then he surprised with 3-pointers. So Amherst Speedsters usually only averages about 43s, whereas King's Landing is usually putting up 44 a game. So, that was a surprise to see him take home that category and put up 51 threes, 11 above his average. So that's 4 categories. And so the 5th one, which I think we expected the Speedsters to win, which was rebounds. So rebounds, Amherst Speedsters is about 128 on the year in comparison to King's Landing is at 121. So a 7 rebound differential. And man, King's Landing, he must have heard us, from, last week's cast. He made some pickups, made some changes, and I think we need some updating to these averages, man, because, he brought it, where Speedsters was about his average, but King's Landing was about 30 plus. So really impressed.
Yeah, above average rebounding for King's Landing. And Speedsters, they did what they were supposed to do in terms of how they performed according to their average. 122, you said their average is 128, so they were close. You can probably look at the non-contribution that Diallo made this week. He was pretty much a non-factor.
And it's close to my fantasy stats.
Yeah, and 3-point shooting was we didn't expect to see. What was King's Landing's 3-point average?
So King's Landing is at 44 for the season, so about
Okay, so
a
they're
four
close
differential.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty low for the guys that they have on their team, but
Mm.
I expect it to be a little higher, only because, as you said, as you eloquently put every week, playing 4 on 8 is never a good idea. But this week, I think, like as you mentioned, Kings Landing made some pickups. No fault of his own. A few guys just, you know, couldn't stay healthy. Um,
Mm.
you know, Justin Jackson, he's got to go. Uh, he didn't really belong in the lineup in the first place, but he's got to go. Um,
It's an upgrade. He's playing, 6 on 8 now, right? And look, it's already paying dividends.
yes, yes, yes. He won the matchup, and that's important. So give credit to House Jr., who has been a real strong contributor, not only on the boards but also hitting threes and scoring the ball. A few defensive stats as well. But yeah, you look at the free throw percentage, which is, I mean, incredible. When you have one of the best probably free throw shooter of all time on your team, you should probably never, hopefully, lose in that category. Nothing else really surprised me about this matchup.
Can we take a pause? Do you see
Yeah,
the outrageous line by Bradley Beal and
46 tonight.
and Shea?
Yeah, yeah,
174 for the week?
yeah. That's
Uh,
yeah.
or
Shea
52%.
matching the production of Steph Curry in terms of
Wow.
scoring points right now. It's really, really good.
More
Really good in
efficiently,
balancing.
too. You know,
Yes, yeah.
that's impressive, man.
60% almost per
Mm.
day. So I miss you, Shay.
Shea, right? And this is him talking, to those voters. I should be in the All-Star, game talk.
He
Like
had a
don't
good
don't
case. He
don't
had
forget
a
me.
really good case. Yeah, no Shay, SGA, no SGA in the OKC lineup. They I don't know how they would score anything.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's move on. We had the Beantown Bombers take on the True Grit.
Hmm.
Um, any thoughts on how this went? Went pretty
Oh
much the way we
yeah,
thought it would.
we thought hands down this matchup wasn't going to be close, and the numbers, supported that. Um, Beantown Bombers was expected to win this matchup. I mean, he kind of disappointed a little bit. He was supposed to win 7-2 or better.
Hmm.
Really quickly, he had the advantage in field goal percentage, threes, points, assist, steals. So those were 5 categories that it was supposed to be a no chance. He was also supposed to win free throw percentage, but he struggled this week from the line. No KD, I'm sure probably contributed to that.
Right.
And then in rebounds, he also struggled. Um, but I will say that True Grit, probably put in more rebounders to compensate, for the losses that he's got with Anthony Davis. The next category that was shocking was turnovers that Beantown won. Like you would expect him to lose that category because they're a higher usage team than True Grit, but they were able to turn that category around. And I mean, it just shows you, that there's a little bit more to that story. So if you look into the games played, he had about a 2-game disadvantage. Beantown had a 2-game disadvantage for the week, but he kind of played He kind of played. He kind of scrambled some categories or rearranged some categories, but he kind of more or less got what the expected result, which was like a 6-3, 7-2 type of victory.
Yeah, Kobe White has started playing really well for True Grit. Other than matching him up with Jalen Brown, who's been okay. As we mentioned, but still one of the better performers on this team. Yeah, they just don't have enough right now. They're really missing Anthony Davis. They're really missing Derrick Rose in the lineup. Derrick Rose is starting now for the injured Elfrid Payton. I bet he could have helped out in this lineup a little bit, but it went the way we thought it would.
Damn, this shit is bad. I'm looking at the true numbers. This shit is bad. These are like names that, like, if you ask somebody off the street, right, that knows basketball, who any of these guys were, maybe let's go outside of Boston, right? Because people know Jalen Brown. You go outside of Boston, you ask anybody who any of these players are, they'd have no clue who you're talking about. I think that's a bad fucking sign.
Yeah, man. I mean, we said it a few weeks ago. I said, if you're rolling out your lineups with Dort and Baisley and Noel, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, that's it.
Shit.
That's it.
Yep.
The Celtics played Titanes de San Juan in an upset. The Titans are victorious. What do you think of this matchup?
I did not want the Titans to win, man. I'm going to hear about it all day tomorrow. I'm surprised. I should probably check my phone and see if he's not beating me up. Hey, killer. Don't forget about the San Juan, right? I'm knocking out these number one teams. Like, you need to show some respect on my team name. We're here. I'm no easy win. Like, nobody should put any check marks when they play me. You see me. Sign off, Titans.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, I'll give him his respect.
He's not wrong.
He did well. He certainly overperformed. There were 3 categories that he was supposed to win that he won, which were 3-pointers. He had a 54-46 advantage on the season. Blocks, he had a 23-10. As we know, the Bimtown, don't really like to play defense. And then turnovers, 43-59 advantage. And, Titanes was able to win or secure those 3 categories. But then, he went above and beyond and surprised in 2 other categories. One, steals. He was able to overturn, where he had a 4 steal disadvantage on the season, 18-22, and he was able to come across with the victory in that cat. And then free throw percentage, he shoots it at 77% on the year, whereas Bimtown shoots it at 80%. And Bimtown was shooting it against the backboard this week, she gave up that category. So a pointed, attack by the Titans, and kudos and well done.
Yeah, Zion shooting 68% is not going to help. And then Luka 44% from the line this week. So that's a killer. They expect to do a little bit better than what we've seen here. the steals, like you mentioned, I'm this one. I was kind of surprised by, even though Titanis has proven to be a decent defensive team, especially in the shot blocking area. Um, I I I, I still think the matchup would have went the other way. What does Bimtown average in steals again?
She's at 22 steals
Okay,
a
so
week.
she was above actually what she would normally do.
Hmm.
But Titanis, like he said, don't disrespect us. We got this.
Put some respect on my name.
Remember the Titans.
Remember, I was a previous champion in another
Former champion. Put some
former
respect.
champion.
Put
Former
some respect on
champion.
it.
All right, man, you got it.
See you. See you. Um, let's move on to your matchup.
Brooklyn.
Just the way we thought it went. Where we go?
Brooklyn took care of business, man. After
Mm-hmm.
sliding 2 weeks, we finally got back into the win column. And how did we do it? It was mainly the combination of field goal percentage and 3-pointers made, as well as rebounds and assists. So those are the 4 categories we expected to take, which we did. And then we were able to pull off the upset in points. I will say, our points average is 358 in comparison to Midtown's 418. However, Midtown went in the reverse direction with points because of the Turner acquisition. And we went in the reverse direction in points because Karl Anthony Towns is finally back, and we've got Paul George also back in the lineup. So, that was really refreshing. And then in steals we average about 23 a game. But I think we're certainly a better steal teams than the numbers say. And the steals differential was only 2. So, a 2 steal differential, by a week, I mean, that's kind of rounding error in my opinion, right? Like you put in the right player that can swing the matchup. So, that was kind of a toss up, happy we walked away with that category. And then blocks, although it was pretty close between us, Midtown had the advantage with a 14 to 13 in averages. This probably doesn't take into consideration that Turner acquisition. So I don't think this was ever going to be that close. We just don't have the firepower to challenge, a team with Turner in the blocks category.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah. I think rolling out Jay Sean Tate in the lineup for the Money Men. That's kind of like the discount move. They don't have Oladipo. They don't have McCollum. It's just not right now. Just not the same team. And then DeRozan only played 1 game this week, so it was going to be as we expected, a rough matchup for them. But maybe better luck next week. Frankfurt, man, they're rolling. They are rolling. Fox.
They see me rolling.
Lonzo.
They ain't
CP3.
Aiton. Dirty.
Putting up numbers, man.
Dirty.
Putting up numbers. And
yeah, man.
No surprise here. We knew that they would take care of business and handle Syracuse. Syracuse is not in a competitive mode right now. They're in a building mode. So, but even still, we like to see that. We like to see that these players are performing the way they are. Do you see Frankfurt? Oh, well, actually, I'll save it for after you sort of tell me what you see. But I'm curious. Like, what do you think about Frankfurt's playoff hopes?
They might not know how to tank. However, it's quite perfectly, right? Because I think there's, we'll probably get, to this in, a future episode. There's about 6 or 7 teams that are pretty much, close to a lock as long as they don't suffer any big time injuries. And so there's only about 1 or 2 spots, right? So if Frankfurt sneaks in and he can keep Rucker Park away from the playoffs, he still gets a lottery pick and he still gets an opportunity at some money. And so, he's in a great position,
Yep.
with some great talent, going into their 4th season or 5th season. I can't do the math on the 17ers. So yeah, I mean, sky's the limit, and he sent me a message, sometime, earlier this week, people making fun of me with the ball acquisition for $5. I think this is the best $5 I ever spent. I gave away $120 to get, a $5 discount value pick and somebody that can, be with the franchise, for
I thought it was
for a
great
very
move.
long time. I told him that. I said, not us. You gotta tune in.
Yeah,
We
tune
broke
in.
it
Yeah,
down. We
we
broke it
applauded
down.
them.
We thought it was a good move.
Yeah, I like it, and
For
it's
both teams. For
actually
both teams.
it possibly might have made you an even better team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough. Yeah. So let's move on. Cranston. We picked Cranston for this matchup, and it turned out to be a not really a close one, but when you look at the numbers, but it was close enough actually. Solid State, they were without a few guys. No Derek White this week.
But he still, Solid State still had the game's advantage. I mean,
yeah.
so there's something going on with that locker room. Like Cranston Killers did what they did in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. Those were the 4 categories certainly. But
are you surprised that they were able to win still, even though they had D'Angelo Russell in the lineup?
He's been doing this all season for a long time, man. He's got the likes, of Tatum.
Well, when I saw Hunter make it to the bench, I figured, oh, we're making lineup moves. So, but yeah, I wasn't quite expecting to see D'Angelo Russell still in the lineup.
I think Cranston Killers is definitely a person that's going to want to get that vote in that we've got out for the new IL plus position, because he's strapped. He's strapped for positions, right? And if I'm him, yeah, I get it. I don't want to draft any of those high value assets, even though they're ILs. So it's
only one or 2 votes in right now. So we need the league to speak up if this is something that they are interested in. Last matchup. NY and Rucker Park, battle of the NYC teams.
And we picked wrong.
NYK here, but Rucker Park, man, they pulled it out.
Must win, or he was going to sell the franchise. Must win. And they did a good job. They did a good job. They were the superior team. I think we really picked NYK because of the game's advantage, which he still maintained 27-25, but the quality of the play just wasn't there. I know he was missing Porzingis because they're trying to figure out his next team. Porzingis Porzingis about to be playing in Europe.
Yeah, man. Did you? Apparently there's high maintenance issues, and that doesn't just speak to injuries. There's something else going on there.
He wants to shoot from the logo. he doesn't feel like he should be playing. He should be playing Robin. He wants to be Batman.
I go back to week what was it, week 3 or 4? We talked about this. The look that Luka had on his face when Porzingis took that shot at half court. Like, I think Luka's like, yo, I like this guy a lot, but he's never really healthy, and he's taking my shots.
Yeah, that shot. Yeah, that shot was like Russian roulette, man. I didn't know what that shot was about and what he was trying to accomplish. It felt like certainly an ego thing, man. Just taking a couple shots of vodka.
Yeah, I mean, even without Porzingis, they still New York still performed well in terms of if you had Porzingis a couple more games, might have been a little bit more competitive in terms of the shot blocking, and certainly the points, right? Like even points, look how close points were. Really, they lost by what, 7 points?
Yeah, that's
tough.
Turns it.
No Van Fleet tonight. Van Fleet playing tonight obviously gets you those extra points. He obviously gets you 7 points. So that's big. Rucker Park free throw percentage really good this week. That's not.
We talked about it. We talked about it last week. The Kawhi Leonard effect.
Yeah. But look at Giannis, 75%. So don't discount him. All right. Well, that concludes the week 10 recap. We'll join you again for our preview for week 11, make our picks, and yeah, we'll see you then.
Hello sunshine, hello darkness. Sometimes I smile, sometimes heartless. Cursed to finish.